Next tonight, the University of Sheffield is one of the first unis in the country to pilot sexual consent classes for new students.
It's after research by the National Union of Students showed worrying levels of lad culture, sexual harassment and sexual assaults on campuses across the country. The government has asked universities to look at ways of tackling the problem. Here's Mark Ansell with this exclusive report.
There's a lot of misunderstanding around consent, I guess is what we're trying to say.
It's not the way most students would have expected to start at university, talking about what constitutes consensual sex.
Just imagine, instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. But if you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea,
then how hard is it to understand it when it comes to sex?
There are issues around lad culture and sexual harassment around the UK, and we feel that this proactive approach, a preventative approach, by talking to our students and getting them to have discussions about sexual consent is a really good way of addressing this issue.
As freshers start their first term at university, there's support for these workshops among existing students.
I have friends at other universities, who've had really awful experiences where basically they should have said no and they didn't really know how to and they didn't know if they could say no. And it's ended up quite nastily with people kind of realising months later that they have actually been raped.
I've been out with a group of friends on a night out, even here at the Union, some of which are girls, and there are big groups of lads that will come over and think that it's okay to touch them in inappropriate ways, and it's really not.
I go out clubbing and I see it. I see people being groped. I see people are really drunk. I definitely think it's a problem.
Well, at the University of Sheffield, they say they've not seen a rise in the number of sexual assaults. The National Union of Students has done research and found that 1 in 7 female students say they've been physically or sexually assaulted, and many more report being sexually harassed.
Just because somebody's dressed in a certain way doesn't mean that they're out asking for sex.
They're just trialling the workshops at the moment, but the hope is that if they go down well, many more students will be given sexual consent training when they start at university. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North, Sheffield.